Alright. I went through and did some things. Oh, I need to edit the volume levels on this. This is nuts. Also, I'm realizing this is going to end up looping at some point. It's going to be drastically out of place for, like, what we're doing with the storyline stuff, but, like, I don't have good royalty-free space opera battle stuff at the moment that's going to last me for the whole duration of the stream. Also, I don't think we're going to be running this one all the way through for the full 3 hours. I think there's only about an hour left of this specific storyline for EV Nova. I intend on eventually coming back and doing a different storyline, but that's going to be left up to an audience vote for basically like what the next game will end up being when it comes to that point. But we'll probably doing this tonight, and once we get to the end of the current storyline stuff, we'll probably switch over to do maybe a couple runs on Peglin, and I've got some more stuff that I've been working on with the Kingdom Challenge Plague Lands, and I think we might be able to make it to day 40 now that I actually know what I'm doing. I've been practicing. So yeah, hello everybody. How you all doing? Let's take a look here. Interesting. Actually turn this down just a little bit further. Okay. I'm also seeing we have not a whole lot of people here for the storyline stuff, so we'll probably just hold off on that one for now and do Peglin. Let's see what shows up in what order on OBS. Now that's a devious idea, using the Peglin background audio for a completely different game. Alright. New game. Still trying to get the Bulwark or Poison. Bombaton. Officially make the first map run extra quickly. Oh wait, I have to go to the main menu, new game. I know what I'm doing wrong here. Stone. Wait, what? Hold on. Alright, we'll do Crucible 5. I thought it was further along where they were adding, like, additional health, but they may have changed the balancing on what the different Crucible levels are. 5 extra gold. Yep. Okay. More gold. Or abrasion. Oh, I really like that one. Yes. Ooh, a lot of rewards on the right. Let's go for it. Nice. Also nice. Aw, so lucky. And yet so unlucky. All attacks blind enemies. This will be interesting during boss fights. More orbs, but this would be ones that cause self-damage. We'll say no. There's so many relics in a single run, but like no gold. Which is funny that I went for the artifact that gives you gold. So I wonder if that one, like, you have to hit the first 20 for it to set it off. I'm not sure if it continues counting those between throws. I know a lot of things in this game do. Also, this has been a great way for me to just rack up a bunch of extra coins, because these enemies aren't a great threat right now. Also, every one of my orbs deals different damage because of this dungeon die. Heals 4 when used. Overflow. Every 16 hit deals 4 self. Ooh, I see how that worked. Okay. Okay. Leave it a chance. No! Yeah, sure. Ah. So much of this forest has turned against you, but one particular tree in this clearing feels like the vast vestige of goodwill. You see an opportunity to take care of the tree and be taken care of in return. Tend to the leaves for some healing, tend to the roots for max health, or just leave. Tend to the roots. With your help, the tree's roots stretch out to cover new ground. You feel a deep sense of peace that persists with you after you leave the clearing. Whoa, there's bombs here? What happens if you set off the bombs inside the forest? Oh, nice. Oh, these guys. Okay. Crits on that side. Very nice. Okay. Crits on this side. Ah, missed. Yeah, still got it. Just want to hit a bunch of them with this one, and it's likely to not hit that crit no matter. Ah, never mind. I was so wrong. Okay. Nice. Spinfection. I do like me that Spinfection. Every time it activates, it deals 5 self-damage. Might have to hold off on that one, but we'll do Spinfection. Alright. Let's also refresh the board. Power Glove. Attacks gain +1/+1. Oh, I want that one thematically just because it's fun, but we're going to go with the Heavy Shaft Potion. Activated crits also refresh the board now. And heal 2 every time the board is refreshed. Perfect. So now crits will also heal us. Okay. As long as I don't crit, this one does a lot of damage. Same with this one. This one is almost worthless. Wow. It has to deal at least 1 damage for it to... Interesting. Oh, these are all such good ones. Heal first. Okay. Let's go for more gold. Maybe we'll get lucky. Like, it's the wrong time to buy it, but... Okay. Oh, wow. I didn't think that through. Okay. We'll skip this one. It's way over there. Hi, NNK. How's it going, hon? Having an interesting start to a Peglin run. We've got blind on all of our base attacks. This could hurt. Doing some killer base damage. Let's see. This is a shuffle one, but the shuffling also tends to set off the refresh pretty often. And I'm not sure why it not certain as to why it does that exactly. I think we'll skip all of these. And go for Spinfection 6. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, we're gonna do Gift That Keeps Giving. That's a fun one. Mm. Oh wow, that stone is nearly useless. Okay, these shields are gonna be a problem. What? Why did it bounce like that? Hmm. Oh, I should probably change this. I had the stream information on the wrong game in the first place. Since you're at the beach today? How was it? It sounds awesome. Ugh. Yeah? Huh. Interesting. Ugh. It's true. Was it fun? We'll leave that as is for now. Go back over to here. Renewed Vigorb grants muscle every 3 times. You have to have a lot of refresh power going on for that to work. What'd you do at the beach today, Tiglith? Hand and drank. Cozy. And swam. That sounds pretty nice. Oh wow, that is a lot of shops. I guess we'll go for the one on the left. There's no way I'm gonna have the money for the one on the right. Forge, give it to me. Yes, I'll take the damage. Relic. It increased bomb damage. More discards. I've been having a lot of really useless orbs, so this will be handy. How many coins do I have? 28. That's not even enough to do anything. And we don't have any special... Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah, thanks. I guess this is a good way for me to potentially get a healing orb. I was wrong. That would have been a fun one, but, yeah. Oh well. That's like the entire second map, really. That's so silly. Aw. Hmm. Nice. Still not doing remotely enough damage to, like, feel comfortable in a fight here, but... Wow, the damage on that Warbammer. Deals full damage to enemy shields. Alright. Wait. All attacks... Okay. Wow. Huh. What a strange way for that to act. I love it. When reloading. Not refreshing. Start each battle's muster roll. Yeah, give it. Gimme, gimme, gimme. We want left side. Okay. Oh, this won't be too bad. Whoa. By slowing this down, they made it, like, so much more difficult to deal, like, really heavy damage. That update really changed things. Let's say no to that one. I missed. At least this thing can't hit back. I can just kind of aim for whatever. Oh, wow. It's kind of worth just getting. Let's take a look at the map. Still don't have a way to heal self, so I know that we're going to end up taking damage during these fights. Hello, Haglin. Upgrade an orb. Remove an orb? Oh, this guy. Do I really want this right now? I could do really scary damage. Oh, I should have taken advantage of that because I had the multiplier. Oh well. Oh no! I need to pay way closer attention to that. Okay, toss that. This one, go over here. Okay. Just keep doing hits like that. Yeah! No! Ooh. Are you kidding me? Don't hit it. I am so disappointed in you as an orb. Ugh. Over there. Okay, that's getting scary close. Here's to hoping. Okay. Sure. Ah. The gift that keeps on giving and glorious suffering? Things just went real silly. Oh, and the new boss. Hopefully we make it there. Okay. 4 and 0. Hoil and Trouble. Applies Infection 2. Applies Infection 2 can target any enemy. Oh. He 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 he. Three and 3. Interesting. Wonder what the base damage on that is. Hmm. Okay. Just kind of go for whatever for now. Oh. Okay. Didn't want to go to that side. Thanks a lot, game. Hmm. No coins for me. Just suffering. You find a globe of radius standing directly in your path. If you listen carefully, you can hear it humming with an earthly energy. You sense you can make use of this power. Embrace the energy. Upgrade all stones. I mean, why not? I want that fight. Give me that fight. Yeah. Let's go over there. Oh, that's so cute. Okay. Now I have to hope that I can deal enough damage. Because this is going to be uncomfortable. Nope. The answer is no. 5 health. I'm not gonna get this. I'm gonna lose. That's sad. We were having such a fun run. Oh well. You've unlocked these in custom mode. Let's check a thing real quick. Nope. Still showing just one. Okay. Now I'm kind of curious. Yeah, no. Chatterino and Twitch are just both being dumb about reporting right now. Okay. We're gonna switch this over then, since we lost that run. And we're gonna finish out that story for Evie Nova. Let me get things changed over. Do 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 do. Oh hey, does that actually like size correctly? Hey, not bad. Oh, I get to have like one side or the other all messed up. Sure, we'll do it this way. Okay. At least we get a full screen version of it this time. Don't have the drifting bit of space up at the top. And stream info. What? And update the stream info. Cool. Let's get this going. All right. Last we left off, we have been dealing with being a slave to the Federation Bureau of Investigations and essentially control, a shadow group that was operating behind the curtain to try to control everything, and has been using our psychic powers that we've been slowly figuring out and developing as a weapon to get behind enemy lines and cause all sorts of problems. We just broke free of that grasp. Now it's time to go talk to a couple people. So, we're out here in Kalari, in Polaris space. We're going to go all the way back to Earth here. And we're going to have a conversation with Lirel in the bar to see if we can learn how to free the Vell-OS from enslavement. Let's go. The Javelin is a neat ship. Also, we've been absolved of most of our crimes by the Polaran president after explaining everything that's happened to us. So theoretically, we are safe to land pretty much anywhere besides a couple of the spots that are permanently upset at us in Auroran space. As you slide into one of Kanban's many docking bays, you can sense Lirel coming out to meet you. As soon as you drop your protective barrier, he steps forward and clasps arms as equals for the first time. I always knew that you were the one. You have only one more step to take, and I'm afraid that my orders prevent me from telling you what that is. If you can make the next step, then my people will have the first chance to be free in over 7 centuries. You nod, understanding that he cannot tell you how to become a T0 because he cannot teach you how to reach a level which might enable you to free him. Crypt, you ask, trying to confirm your suspicions as to who you'll have to see. No, he answers. But the fact that he answered aloud, and that he has completely closed off his mind, gives you the real answer. You thank Lirel, telling him it will not be long until you return. He smiles for a moment before turning serious. You'd best leave quickly, he tells you, still shielding his mind. As soon as you leave, I'll be reporting you as an unenslaved telepath, and I doubt they'll be sparing any expense in trying to destroy you now that you are too powerful for them to control. You nod, and the two of you clasp arms again, and you begin your weaves to bring into existence your javelin shell. Good luck. I hope to see you soon. With that endorsement ringing in your mind, you head out into space to head back to Vell-OS to try to find a way to speak with the crypt. Back to Vell-OS. The place where it all started. 7 centuries ago. Okay. Do a thing real quick. Price is steep, well cared for. Okay, that's a Class D. Sport ship turned merchant. Nah. Okay, this one's 3 blasters, 2 Raven rocket pods, 2 light cannons. Oh no, it's not even a question. We're hiring the Starbridge. We've got the money to do it right now. Let's take advantage of it. Because we're about to get run down on the way out of here, and having the extra firepower is good. No. Okay. Forgot this thing has enough armor to handle that. You can sense the mighty intelligence that is the crypt mind focus its awareness not far from where you're landing. As you wait inside your protective barrier, it approaches, and you allow it to enter, whereupon an obsidian figure of a naked woman steps into the interior of your javelin. You wish to know how to free the Vell-OS. I can help you. They have been ready to evolve beyond the universe for more than a millennia, but have been waiting for the right conditions. I was created when the 6 Cryptok battle leaders imbued their minds into their nanites at the end of the Vell-OS War to evade capture. I have grown since then, but I still retain the capacity to act as 6 T1s. Unfortunately, the Vell-OS requires 7 T1s to sufficiently focus enough energy to allow a single T0 to weld together their entire racial memory into one mind with enough power to move on. You halt her flow of information with a single question. One mind. T1s can focus telepathic energy. A T0 could achieve true telepathic union. You nod and send her a series of images letting her know that Lirel is a T1. Then you will need to link. You are a T0 even though you don't know it yet. But if you are placed under enough duress, you will learn that You will learn what you have to do. The only way the Vell-OS will link with you is if they are ordered to attack you by the leader of the Bureau, because no other source has enough authority for them to go against their standing orders to resist being freed. You nod, thoughtfully before asking Crypt how to go about asking to provoke Crane into ordering the entire Vell-OS race into attacking you. Go to Goliath in South Manchester. Tell the Vell-OS there that you are going to New England to destroy the Bureau utterly, and if you succeed in getting there, Crane will order Lirel to try to destroy you, but you will only have any chance of doing so if he uses the energy of all the Vell-OS into you. Then you can join them into one mind to free them, then we can worry about moving on. Alright. To Goliath. They just left us alone. Hello, Milk Flavor. It's good to see you. Oh, I can't see my star map. Okay. You can sense the Vell-OS waiting for you in the bar, and you decide to make your way there to confront her face to face. You can sense the Vell-OS waiting for you, wondering what you have to say. I am going to New England to start destroying the Bureau. You pass on to her without preamble. No Bureau personnel will be spared. She nods quietly, and you can sense the filaments connecting her to the rest of her race pulsing as the information is passed along. You bow in her direction before heading back to the spaceport to start what is going to be an eventful few days. Alright, random mercenaries, I'm sorry, but you folks are probably going to get shot down. Do your best. Let's go. Wait. There's a bunch of rage gunboats with race weaponry. Interesting. Good luck stopping me. I'm a little faster than you. There's a pirate carrier just waging war out here. I don't have to worry about anything. As soon as you land, you attack the waiting bureau personnel, frying them instantaneously. Non-telepaths cannot stand against even the simplest of telepathic attacks without heavy shielding, and not even the heaviest shielding can stand for long against the terrible destructiveness of the winter tempest. In minutes, you've cut your way through the bureau building, destroying everything in your path. You finally reach the inner sanctum, where you're confronted by a calm-looking Lyrel and a frightened Crane. "Attack her now!" she yells fearfully. "I cannot defeat her," Lyrel replies. "Then get the energy from the rest of them to join," she spits out vilely. "It still might not work," he answers evasively. "It depends on how skilled she's become." "We have no choice! Do it!" He shrugs and gathers the entire mental energy of his race, launching at you. In desperation, you react by twisting the energy around the minds of the entire Vell-OS race. Suddenly, the weaves seem to coalesce, and you can feel your consciousness expanding and being joined by thousands of others, all thinking as one. And then everything goes black. Prime awakens, looks around, feels small twitches trying to gain control. Irritated, Prime removes the twitches, watches the mental irritations fall to the ground, senses female human, name surfaces, Crane. Watch as female human places small black device against her head. Prime watches as she tightens a finger and her essence moves away. Prime enjoys feeling another irritation pass. Prime looks up to the higher realms and is greeted by obsidian mental female, Crypt. "Come, join me, Prime. Together we will explore." Prime wonders and resolves to live again, soon. Prime closes eyes and falls asleep. As suddenly as everything went black, you feel your consciousness return to its normal size. Your mind is once again contained within your skull, as opposed to some multi-dimensional space. As everything returns to normal, you find yourself looking across from Lyrel, who is holding the enslavement device in his hands, and looking down at the headless corpse of Commander Crane. Lyrel drops the evil device to the floor with a look of wonder before looking up at you. "There is something I must do. Meet me in the bar in an hour." As you wait in the bar, you can sense Lyrel destroying all communications devices and sending all sensitive documents to a secure server somewhere else in Federation space. It doesn't take him long, but he and the rest of the Vell-OS quickly and efficiently disable the entire Bureau network. "We are ready. Now it is time to move on. I need to go to Corel to finish this." With a mental nod, you head to the spaceport to form your javelin and escort Lyrel to see one of the two planets that formed the Vell-OS civilization of old. This music. 2 escorts were upgraded at a cost of 80,000 credits. Class D. Okay, good for them. Corel. Where's Corel? Oh, wow, that is way out there. I thought Vell-OS was far. Wait, who's left? Wait, who's left to fight us? More rage gunboats. I mean, you can chase us, but we're leaving. Hypergate V0 Bravo. That's a lot of guns. That is truly a terrifying weapon to deliver that much damage that fast. As soon as you land, Lirael forges together all the mental energy of the Vell-OS race and launches it at the Crypt Mind, who quickly weaves a complex pattern around it before extending it to you in an incredibly focused beam of pure energy. It only takes a few moments to repeat the weaves you made on New England, this time including Crypt, and once again everything goes dark. Prime awakens, vaster than before. Prime watches the universe unfold into infinity. The possibilities become limitless. Prime tenses, ready to launch past everything that is set into everything that will be. There's a sudden tickle. Prime reaches back and moves a few minor pieces and feels the game change. Prime smiles as the harm is wiped away. Prime turns back to what will be and leaps forward to greet the others already waiting there. The rest of humanity always suspected that the Vell-OS were behind the sudden release of formerly secret documents detailing the operations of the Bureau against people throughout the galaxy. However, despite the era of peace and unification resulting from the discrediting of the Bureau and their allies the Moash House, the role of the Vell-OS was never confirmed. Meanwhile, Prime was waiting. And life went on. Humanity continued to stumble forward. Through wars, through peace, through seemingly infinite number ones of crises, in all of the solutions, humanity somehow survived and grew stronger. And still, Prime waited. But eventually, after more than 50 millennia, humanity began to look to move beyond the physical universe, and Prime was ecstatic. With open arms, Prime welcomed its younger brother into the higher realms. Once they were together, nothing could stop them. Hey Ryan Gosling, it's good to see you. A mysterious force transports you to an unknown location. Until we meet again, may the rain fall gently on your fields, and may God hold you in the palm of his hand. So we're somewhere else right now. Port, our spiel. Current system, 7. Government, Atmos. At the top of the galaxy, and doesn't actually link to anything. A secret place. And it looks like contact. Let's take a look. Clear to land, Javelin. Commence final approach. After more than 40 months, some 1,000-odd pages of notes and background information, 12 short stories, some 1,000-odd images, about 75,000 man-hours, more than 10,000 email messages that make up more than 24 meg of hard drive space, more than 10 gig of dev files, and over 30 meetings, and more than one strained friendship, some of which have remained a little cool. Here's Nova. We hope you enjoyed it. Congratulations on completing one of the major storylines. That's one of 6. Try again and see what you can find. Good luck, and thanks for playing Nova. So let's take a look here. Welcome to the New Sydney Hotel, the best little pub in town. You walk into a happy atmosphere where everyone seems to be enjoying themselves immensely. You notice a group of 6 people toasting each other over a few beers and 1 Coke on one of the high tables near the window. You wonder what they're celebrating. There are no ships available to hire here. Oh, that's so weird that, this stuff stuck around. Why does it let you buy anything here? Secret ship, the Kestrel. I didn't save enough money to get it. Only 2 examples of this dark and menacing ship are known to exist. This one was discovered floating near a wormhole at the farthest end of known space. It was subsequently salvaged and reconditioned by a collector of exotic starships before being put up for sale. The only other known Kestrels privately owned. Leading scientists theorize that these mystery ships somehow entered our galaxy from a parallel dimension. You'll note that the graphical design of the Kestrel is slightly different from other ships as well. Starts with... Oh wow, that thing is very well outfitted. Impossibly so. That's fun. So, that is the end of EV Nova. Everything has changed. It certainly has. What happens if I land here? Link. I'm in the Obata Nebula now. That's interesting. Where else can I go? So we're in Haran now. Passing through a wormhole into the Haran system again. Into the Haran system again. Into Haran system again. Into Telluar system. This is out by Corel. Into Ganu Taurus. That's out in Polaris space. Into the Vell-OS system. There's one that leads there. Into the Varashan system, also Polaris space. Into Haran. Into Sol. Wait, Sol? Sol? Hold on. Ahoy there, Javelin. Ahoy to you too. We're just gonna cruise off this direction until we get to Earth, I suppose. What an interesting end to the story. So, yeah. Once you finish a storyline in this game, I think it's your citizen status gets reset to basically 0, and there's not much else to really do. You can mine for more credits. You can go ahead and build yourself a nice little fleet. You can make yourself a bigger ship, but you're still limited by the constraints of what the game has put into place. And the only last thing that you can do, aside from trying to get the other storylines, is if you're a big enough jerk, you can hail the planet itself and hit the button I've never hit during this playthrough. I'll note, during this playthrough. You have to get your combat rating up to a high enough... yeah, we're only at very competent. To a high enough rating, basically have killed enough ships or done enough damage that you're considered an actual threat to the planet. At which point, they'll send a defense force against you where you have to survive against multiple waves of incoming reinforcements, very similar to the combat that I was dealing with in Rebel Galaxy, to be honest. But since combat's a little different in this game, it's a lot faster, and it's a lot harder to survive for those long conflicts. But yeah, that's the Vell-OS story for EV Nova. I hope you all enjoyed this. Oh, now that's weird. I didn't think it would let me continue the side missions that I'd already had going before I got wrapped up in all the political garbage. That's really funny. So, I guess we'll read through this real quick. As you look around the various vessels on offer, you're tapped on the shoulder and turned around to see Rodney, the Sigma shipyard's representative. I have a mission of some urgency for you, he begins quite seriously. It involves traveling across most of the known galaxy, picking up a cargo that isn't strictly legal, and returning here. Before you answer, he raises your hand to forestall your reply. Be aware that you may well come under intense fire in a place far from where we'll be able to help you. But also be aware that if we cannot trust you to take this mission, we cannot trust you with any more of our sensitive corporate secrets. Are you up for it? We'll say yes. Good. He relaxes, looking visibly relieved. The cargo we want you to pick up is 20 tons of palladium from the planet Kant in Kantic system, which is in the far southeast of Auroran space. The Aurorans won't be happy with you taking it to bring here, but that may be of the least of your problems. Recently, some sort of pirate group has blockaded the planet, and none of our ships have been able to get through. Now, once you've secured the palladium, you need to return here without being scanned by the Aurorans. If you do get scanned, you may as well dump your cargo and not bother returning here. We will wash our hands of you. At the end of the day, we have legitimate operations in Auroran space, and we cannot do without, and we are not prepared to risk those over a single shipment of palladium. Do you have any questions? Good luck then. I think I'm actually going to stop EV Nova. I wanted to make certain that we got that last bit of story from last night and finally get resolution for the whole being enslaved and having our agency taken away in a choose your own story adventure. Choose your own adventure story. That's frustrating. That being said, once you have finished primary storyline, unless you have a mod installed, which I don't, you can't actually start any of the other primary storylines because too much of the world has changed and you have access to outfits that you normally don't get access to until you've finished like specific points in those storylines. For example, if you do the Polaran storyline, you have access to way more powerful ships than if you do the Auroran storyline. But there's story. There's a whole book there to be read. I really do enjoy these, but I don't want to necessarily burn you folks out on this, and there are other games to be played out there. One of the ones that we'll actually put this for now. One of the ones that I have been looking at is, oh no, I'm just now realizing that my background is... There we go. Why was it like that? Why did it take me so long to notice that? That's frustrating. Okay. Let me actually grab the correct asset here. And move that. Okay. So we've got some other games that I've been pulling up in my library to take a look at and potentially play on stream here. One of them being Oxenfree. I've owned this one for a really long time, and I know very little about it other than the fact that when I initially saw it, I was like, oh, this is a good story. I want to save this for later so I can play it with my friends. And it's just been sitting in my library for so long. Same goes for The Fall Part 2. I recently played The Fall Part 1 in a Discord call that took, I want to say, like 3 play sessions roughly of about 3 hours each. And for those that haven't played it, I highly recommend you go out and play it. When I do get to the point of being ready to play the second one, I'm also going to have to vet some of the content for it because I do believe some of it is basically a little 18 plus, so not sure how we're going to necessarily work with that, but we'll see what we can do. Let's see here. The other one that I had pulled up was Endless Sky, which appears to be essentially just EV Nova again, but from a different producer and modern. And I'm looking at Steam Cloud support, and there's a picture of somebody piloting the Kestrel that we were just looking at, so that's fun. For now, I think we're going to do some of that Kingdom 2 Crowns content, because I want to show off how much better I'm able to handle the intro to the Plague Island. I have been struggling with it. Maybe we'll actually survive. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Go back over here. Hit this one. We'll turn off this. Oh, my ears are ringing. I hate that. And switch over to here. I hate how goopy it is. Also, I need to restart this because I'm in the middle of a run. Oh, well that works. I just lost. Perfect. Okay, no crown, no monarch. I get it. Let's go. Challenge over. Yeah, I failed before I could even start. What's up? I should try this with Kingdom Classic, because I've been doing the Plague Lands as either Shogun or Nordic. And both of them have their own balances and, like, I don't know. The base game I've played through so many times, and I like the variety of the other build paths on these per se. Also, we just started next to a pair of encampments, which is pretty nice. Let's see. Get this going. Get this going. Get this going. And then let's go cut some trees. That's all we got, so we gotta run and find more gold to cut more trees with, because that was not the smartest start. That was a gambler's start. Here's to hoping. If I don't find gold, this run is already over. That's a lot of encampments. There's some gold. Alright. Push a little bit further and see. Anything? Nope, that's the edge. Okay, heading back. So that's what, 4 encampments? Not bad. I should actually hire and hire. Because they only spawn 2 people per day, so I should at least hire 1 from each. Okay, daylight music just stopped playing, so that tells me that we are already dealing with the spooky. I hate this island so much. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm also kind of surprised that this one doesn't offer for the Dreadlands option. Oh, thank you. Okay. Hey there, folks. Let's get you indoors. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Archers. Oh, always sketchy. First night, super sketchy. Okay, we had 2 more people over here. That's all of our money, so let's hope that we can find a treasure chest. Day 2. I want to say it's day 6 or day 7 that the first blood moon happens. That's the edge already, huh? Oh, a clearing. Now that is welcome. You don't see those very often. So, as far as like the land development part of this game goes mechanically, when you see a clearing like that, you can take advantage by cutting back and shaping the forest around the encampments. Encampments spawn about 1.5 times faster, as far as I can tell, than the hovels that you can build if you end up rebuilding the encampments after destroying them. And hovels can carry up to 3 people, but they cost 5 coins per hire, and they don't spawn people as quickly. So if you've got the time or the energy to be running back and forth constantly, in this case we're going to probably destroy this one just to have a nearby farm so close. But if you're willing to put... Oh, I shouldn't have done that there. Alright. We now have enough archers to readily defend the area, so that's good at least. Let's also get some people into these. We need them. All those archers to the front. Not too bad. Very nice. Okay. Run over here and hit these encampments real quick, I suppose. We're going for redundancy more than high value to start. It turns out one of the most obscenely powerful things, like with the Shogun build, is ignore the samurai. They really don't save you, but load up on ninjas. They cost more people, but individually, a single one can save an entire group of archers. It's really weird. And like, these things don't matter most of the time in ordinary gameplay, but in this challenge mode, it's been more like... One sec. It's been more like I'm actually playing against a competitive AI, and I'm really enjoying the challenge, to be honest. Oh, there's that hovel that needs repaired. What, no archers? I was gonna say, somebody has to have something. You folks just don't go that far into the forest, do you? Ah, but you have. You went into that clearing. That's so far, though. I don't know if I can make it there and back before daybreak. Or nightfall. Oh, you as well. Alright. This makes it worth it. Are you kidding me? Ah! We're gonna lose this person. Like, I can't save them, even if I was to use the shielding ability. Keep running. Keep running. No, do not come here. Oh, bloody hell. Alright, you. Come with. Oh, hey. You're gonna do this? Yeah. Buddy! Come on, man. And then they run away. That's interesting. Alright. Cool. Please be usable. I have to wait a sec for it to do a thing, but... Oh, come on. Nope. If I want that tower, I have to destroy this hovel. Is it worth it? Hard to say. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, archers. How's it going? You're not even archers yet. But we'll get you there. Gotta cut this back. I don't need to hire the extra people yet. There's no point in doing that. Need to get to where I can afford them first. Okay, since that won't work yet, we're just gonna do more archers. Weapons surpass Metal Gear. Oh, will this let me? No. Okay. Yeah. Definitively not happening. That sucks. This one, however, that one is happening. And until these things do not happen, this thing doesn't happen. The Phantom of the Opera is such a strange movie. And La Carlotta is quite the diva. Okay. Let the horse eat. And if you have a snack, you eat too. Oh, there they are. I was going to say, where are they? This is the day. This is the day that I usually lose if I'm going to lose. Have I set up my base? Not quite the way I want, but I also probably shouldn't have bought 2 farmers right off the bat, but here's to hoping that they can get a little bit of farming done the first day. I don't remember, though. They might not be able to do it fast enough. Whooper 7, pass it on. Oh, that's what that's supposed to be? That's amazing. You folks just hanging out over here? Guess as long as you're having fun. That's not enough, is it? I mean, we're about to find out. Have 7 archers to each side. 3 engineers. 2 farmers. Which I shouldn't have done the 2 farmers. That was a mess up on my end. I hate how much of this is, like, really, truly dependent on luck. I have to rely on the game to give me places with good placement on, like, where the tower's going to be, where the wall's going to be, where's the farm going to be. How about encampments? Are there chests? If so, how many? I'm learning that there appears to be at least 2 chests, but there can be as many as 4 in this challenge specifically. If the rules run anything like the base game, just ordinary do all 6 islands quest line, well, I'm like hoping that my spearmen can actually do anything, but they can't. The squirrels just tried to follow me into town. Is this a sign? Nope. Nope, this is it. We're done. We are already done. So what do I have to do different? Because the walls are important at this point. Let's see here. 2 farmers is equivalent to 4 hunters in cost. Oh no. Let's do Shogun for a bit of difference in flavor. And we're doing the green. Start off by taking off in a random direction, hoping it's the wrong way. That gets me the most exploration right off the bat. We have a chest, which is good. That is not what I wanted to do. Okay, we got a hovel. An encampment. Town's that way. Redstone. Need to get a basic stone first. And a second chest. Great start. Just see out of curiosity if there's anything past this point. Or if that just takes us to the edge of the forest. Ooh. Another hovel. Okay. Well, that's just more than I can carry. Hey there, you. Help me out. Carry $2 more. Thank you. You're a big help. Oh, I love that she's sitting there waving the fan as she rides. That's cute. I love seeing the cape flow. Oh. Sorry, horse. Probably took too long for the starting day. We're gonna have to buy archers and just, like, mash that buy button. Oh, we need to change the stream title as well. Well, at least the stream info. This one. Switch it from story time, space exploration, rebellion, and top down to side scroller, tactical. Well, strategy. Tactical means something else nowadays. DLC. Challenge. Oh, challenge run. I like that better. Cool. Thank you for bearing with me on that. Love the ambience in this. That horse do a snort. No. Trying to get out of this place. Didn't realize we'd gone so far. Wow. You go, little archer. We had such a good start. All that lost. Like, was that really... did I net anything from that? I'm tempted to restart this. Just knowing how difficult it is to get any of that back. Let's do that. Well, not the campaign. Yes. Sometimes with roguelikes, you have to know when to cut your losses. And sometimes that's on night 1. I want to be pretty. Ooh, let's do that. Peaceful grass green. A specific type of grass. That isn't grass at all. Run the wrong way! Sure, whatever. You folks. Wait, did I just get the same map again? No way. No, because that wasn't on this side. It was on the right side. Okay. It was the redstone that was on the left side. Thank you for head pats. I should set up a thing for that on here. But I move around so much that it would be hard to, like, actually place that anywhere. And that's another chest. Alright, we're just gonna turn around then. That's too many. Bark! Why Madge? What has angered the melon pup? Balls? The balls have angered thee? The squished balls. Head pats. I appreciate them. This looks so much like the last map we were just on. It's really strange. You'll also note that clearing forests in this is a lot different from the other map. Every one of these bamboo has to be marked. Probably shouldn't be running out here on night 1 like this, but... Yep. Alright. The little campers. Archers, prepare. Things are about to get squirrely. No! Okay. A coin. Thank you. I have to remember to use that shield ability when we're starting. Like, if I don't, it's gonna cause me some problems. Okay, we found another chest. Which is good, because I'm kind of reliant on this until I get some engineers going. Found the redstone. I don't like how close that starting camp is. Because, like, it's the only close one. And it's right next to the right side, so I'm gonna have some problems expanding this direction. Redundancy via distance is a good way to protect yourself in this. Protect your kingdom. Oh, also, expansion packs means different music. Love those allergies. It's only get more gnarly as summer starts to really set in. $20 coins to get redstone. But so worth it. Ah, dang, I messed that one up. Go, little deer. Get hunted. Lol. You too. You too. Go. Go the other way. Go. Good. There's 6 coins. Go. Oh, it is nightfall. Danger. Good. Making good progress. Alright, engineers. Let's get to chopping wood. I love that I've already got a bunch of stuff marked here. Nice. So, we've managed to make it past the very first day and the initial difficulty of figuring out where everything is at. Having the starting funds of those chests, though, has allowed us to, like, branch out. Now the problem is not branching out too far too quickly and remembering to actually equip the people that we hired during these days. Otherwise, I just end up with like 50 people chilling out in the city that are all a threat vector for this contagion that we're fighting. Sound familiar? Wear your mask. Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Yeah, just everybody throw some coins on the ground real quick. I need to count them all out. Gotta get those flatlands started so the hunters can actually make any money whatsoever. Nice. Spooky. So everybody's equipped now. Looks like that went well. So in this case, you don't want to build a bunch of, like, extraneous walls. They won't actually help you. Having the ability for the greed to basically run past your archer's towers, though, will allow you to knock them out in more of a tower defense style. It is so dangerous. But it is, like, the best way that I've found starting. Because since the archers have a straight shot that doesn't miss, as long as you have enough archers to repel the greed in that shot, they'll be okay. It's just really sketchy every time. Deforestation. I hate it, but it's necessary to save this kingdom. Here. It is so far into here. Alright, the redstone. I won't need that for a sec, but I will need it. Bloody hell. Hello, greed. Goodbye, greed. Okay. Hello. Goodbye. Not right now. Cool. If we can get those trees cut away, I can completely ignore the western front. Just let it defend itself. Because these archers know what they're doing. And then I can focus on defending the eastern front with my special ability. And hopefully we'll make it through day 6. Which for some reason I've been struggling with this stream. Hey there, Busta. How you doing, hon? I love that you use that emote because it's I don't like ever personally know the right time, and you do. It matches well. It's your boy. That's what I always think whenever I see it. Strawberry! I see somebody's been hanging out with puns. I'm glad. I'm glad that you folks appreciate the art. Squishy balls and berries, huh? Alright, things just got dangerous. Run over here. Grab some additional engineers. Run over here. Grab some additional archers. I think we might have this. Well, if they focused on the correct thing, which they aren't. That's the last of what I got. It begins. Okay. Wow, that is legitimately scary. Those towers do a lot to help. We did it though. We made it. We made it through. Day 7. Peace. Oh. That was a rough start. Okay. I could do a thing here. This goes out a ways. Yes, yes, yes. We have an entire day and night and day of peace. We don't have to worry about anything attacking from either side for that long. We have the coins. May as well bring some of the engineers over to this side and have them cut the forest back. Two camps that I was not aware of. But that also kills some of our funds. There's not going to be any more chests out here. Yeah, that's the end. Okay. So now we have to be selective. That one. Oh no, yeah, 2 is all we get. I should have been more selective about the people that I ended up hiring. But I do have a day and a night and a day, so I may as well run back over. This is going to take that long, unfortunately. Go collect more coins, because hunting will be done during that time. And then come back. Hopefully I can bring more of the engineers up this direction. But I did kind of mess up here. Now the cool thing is, like, the next day that they do attack again isn't necessarily going to be a difficult one either. We had to deal with a red day. Red days are always difficult. Well, do these folks have coins? No. But if they're that close, I may as well stay with them. I feel like I'm like dead center right now. And like I could go either way. Time. Time is the thing I'm constantly fighting. Oh, yeah, no, we don't have time. Okay. We have a lot less time per day than I thought, so I'm just gonna have to sit here with these two. It is interesting how you can kind of generate coins in this version of the game. So there's an archer's outpost that we can stick way the hell out here. Oh no. Well, that's it. Ah, that's a lot of wasted currency. Well, not really wasted. They did a lot of work. The problem now is that we're going to be constantly dealing with the greed attacking anybody that tries to run out there to do the engineering work of cutting those trees down. So every day we're going to be fighting with losing engineers. Let's all go back together. Let's all go back together. Jeez. That sucks. Those two, they're not going to make it either. We'll cut that later. Hello, Archer. Good luck. Oh, you are way out here. Hello, additional Archer. How are you doing? Hello, Archer Battalion. It's good to see you. Very nice. Uh-oh. That was unexpected. Hmm. I need to find more good pixel games like this where, like, if there is violence, it's stylized. Because I've got a lot of really brutal pixel games that they're fine, but they're not necessarily something I want to be streaming per se. Like Doom has its place. Not necessarily when I'm doing my roguelike thing, per se. Oh, do I get to summon... Yeah. Very nice. Let's see. The redstone's on the right side this time. Wow. Let's see about hiring some people. Hey, you! Now, Oxenfree does look to be another Pixel one, and since it's more story-driven, I look forward to having that as, like, a, something that's a little less mindless, because, like, this is something that I'm able to casually do while discussing particle physics if I wanted to. Not that I'm going to, because I'm having a high pain day, and as you can hear, my speech is scrambled. It's always fun. Hello, Greed. Goodbye, Greed. Hello, Random Engineer. It's time to go. That was effective. In a very silly way. Nice. Okay. Got engineers everywhere now. It's kind of nice. Think about hiring 4 more people on this side. Oh, I need to do this. Do I have enough? I don't. Very close though. So I can snag that easily on probably this day. It is a bit of a challenge going back and forth. This specific mount is interesting. It's hard to like get from point to point, and this is one of the ones that I think would directly benefit from being multiplayer. This is, as far as I know, one of the multiplayer challenges. But since the Monarch can only be in one place at once, it's... Oh, I'm gonna throw another coin out here. It's impossible to check both sides of the map at the same time. And it's impossible to do any kind of like engineering commands. But if you have one on each side, you can do a lot more. it makes for a strange way to play multiplayer because you end up on opposite ends of the map and hardly ever really see each other. Except when you do gameplay builds like the one I'm doing, where there's basically no walls in this kingdom. I guess I should actually pick up the coins that people are throwing at me. We'll wait on that person. Got the whole squad. Okay. Now to run all the way back out here. Hire this person. Oh, they're not available yet. Okay. Well, we'll come back. First, we gotta go way out here. Gotta get to that redstone. Oh. Feed the horse. I think we are coming up on the next red day, so that's fun. Okay. Got that handled. Mine. You only get one. You must earn your keep through strength and bow. Oh hey, a person. Welcome. Getting close to being... You know, I'm kind of wondering if the trees are actually why I'm able to run this campaign easier than the Nordic one. Oh, my back is not happy with me. Feed the horse. And then we zoomies. Did all of my engineers die? Is that what happened? Okay. We do have engineers. Uh-oh. That was a bad time. Okay. Not bad. Am I able to tag any of these? Yeah, just the one. With that, I think I'll actually grab more people. It's going to take a second for the engineers to get there. They are very busy. Time to refill my tea. Oh, that was the last bit I had. Okay. One second. Just found ashes in my cup. Oops. Nice. So it seems like I need more archers. Because now the archers' towers have become populated, my wandering archers are no longer a thing. Thank you. Thank you. Uh-oh. Who got eaten? They must have been a long ways off. Alright. I guess I don't get to have those coins. They're the greeds now. How's it gonna be when you don't know me? How's it gonna be when I'm not around? Hey, a bunch of people. And that's all the coins I have for that. Nice. Okay. Hell yeah, good job. If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, don't be alone now. It's just something for the May Queen, I don't remember. It's just a daydream for the May Queen. Your stairwell lies with the whispering winds. Just a few more and we get another Archer's Tower here. It's gonna be awesome. Gonna wait on trying to hire anybody though. Look at that goop in the back. What's it doing? Welcome back. Well, shouldn't have stopped. No. Well, I guess I needed that, to be honest. Also, were those my engineers? I think those are my engineers. Shoot. We're getting nothing done today. Yep. It's a red day. The archers are only going to hunt for half the day. The engineers won't be able to build or repair anything in that time, or cut any trees. So, starting conditions will be the same as the finishing conditions in this case. Yep, come on. Thank you. Beginning of the spooky music. It returned. Ooh. All right. This side's just making bad decisions. I was gonna say, where are these? So there's a tiny piece of the tech tree that I've been ignoring for a minute here. Let's see if we make it through this night. Sounds like we didn't on the one side. What happened? Okay. Lost a bunch of folks, but didn't actually lose them, so that's cool. Those top-bound archers really help. Welcome back, everyone. Feel free to equip yourselves. And a day of peace. Yes. It's gonna be a minute before anyone gets here anyways. I didn't realize I had the horse marked out that far already. Tempted to grab more people. Oh, no thank you. Only the wildest of gesticulation for me. Thank you. Okay. Won't help right now, but soon. Betsy. I just realized I have engineers out here. It is a full moon. Wait, it's a full moon. It's a day of peace on a full moon? Interesting. You dare do this on the day of my kingdom's downfall? Day 15 was the full moon. Interesting. Hmm. It's another tower I see. I'm going to leave these two to their devices because that's not nearly as much income as I'm going to get from simply walking through here. Also, upgrade this tower, please. On your way through. Same with this. We don't have enough. Maybe this person do. Nope. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody's got a little bit. It adds up. Takes a lot of hits to knock one of those out. I never actually like paid attention firsthand. That was like 7 arrows. Alright, engineers, come here. Got some work for you. I guess you got plenty of other work to do. Shoot. This gives me a chance to medicate a little. I've been sitting cross-legged too long today. I just realized the camera can't really detect what my face looks like through my leg. You do not sit quite so gay. You ever shut a computer down while it's in the middle of rebooting? That's how my brain feels right now. That's a very dense forest. Like, that's actually generating income. It's getting towards moonrise. I need to... Oh, that's enough engineers, actually. I was about to go hire more, but... Instead, I'm gonna have to go pick up the money. No! All that money gone. Okay, well... They tried. It's all good. honestly doing really well. Especially for this being a challenge island thing. I don't actually need to make that any bigger than the size it is. Move it over here. Hire more people. That's 10 coins right there. This person just paid for their own tower upgrade. Nice. Cheers. Yay, we made it to these people. It's one of those weird songs from this soundtrack. I like this one. It's got like ghost noises. Isn't that spooky? I have to rehire engineers. That's right. Wait, does that mean that I have a bunch? Oh, okay. I do have to rehire more engineers, but not all of them. Man, why? And where? Yeah, don't be dumb. Well, don't be foolish. Sorry, I'm still working on removing that one from lexicon. I need to cut trees first. How is it they managed to only cut the small trees but left the big ones? That's very uncanny. Day 19. We go way out here. I don't even remember if there is another encampment this far out. Okay, there is. Oh, hey, we are like right here now, huh? Okay. Ooh. Nice. That tells me we can afford this upgrade. Also, let's go one step further out. Nice. These folks can all be turned into archers. Good. We scamper. Take this. The silver crown represents your continued success. Good. Who got on the other side? Oh no. Oh, must have been an engineer then. We only lost one person. Also, do we only have one engineer now? Oops, I accidentally am military. Okay. We're gonna have to scramble. If you folks have, yeah, okay. That is enough. Okay, so we still need our engineers to even come out here. I should also... Well, I don't think we're making it to day 40. Not on stream, not unless I'm doing an extended stream. How do you folks feel about it? It's another one of those chill nights. I could take it or leave it. I'll probably be playing the game regardless, even if I turn off the camera. Just because this is kind of one of the things that I've been doing idly. Uh-oh. Pause. Or are you telling me to consume beans? Because I'm also okay with this. I'm kind of craving baked beans. That was a lot of greed. It's like the middle of the day. What? I'm confused. Hmm. So one thing I'm also seeing is that I'm not going to be able to tell my farmers to stay out in the field. Like, using the the actual farmhouse isn't going to help anybody. They're just going to get eaten. Well, so where's the next nearest tower? Way over here. I don't think I necessarily want the next tower, then. These encampments are already so far apart. Hello. Well, that's pretty gross. We are going to end up losing engineers to this, but also need to start pushing towards fighting back. There's only one way to really do that. Gotta grow out. Almost got this forest piece cut down to the size where it's one stamina charge. If I eat grass beforehand, I'm fine. In fact, it is at that point. Nice. Alright, thank you, random archers. That's good. Let's upgrade this wall. Ninja. Two more hammers. Whoa! What? Whoa! That is some fast-moving green. Oh, I see. It's our first big greed of the run. This is what the ninja are for. It's fighting these guys. That was scary. Oh, okay. We're on scary day now. And I told all of my engineers to run off to the far west. Because I make choices. Okay. Nice. Another one. Well, I don't have coins for you. Now I do like the spooky ambiance of like the Kingdom Classic music for the Blood Moons. It's good. It is very spooky. I gotta say though, the Norse version is terrifying with the Death Horn or Dread Horn or whatever it is. Just it's something visceral about that sound. Hey there, engineers. So all my archers already ran inside the city gates. Lost an engineer. What's that noise was? A catapult. Sketchy. Come back. You fool. And that's why we fortify like mad. Day of peace. Peace in the hinterland. Okay, I have coins still. Starting to think this stream might just be giving me the munchies in general. Well, it has been a while since I've eaten. Okay. We'll give until the end of this night to see if the kingdom falls. It's looking like we're starting to get stable again, so kind of having my doubts about that. And yeah, might shut down the stream there. It's not often I have an appetite, so I try to take advantage of it when I can. Okay. You know what I forgot? Today was a blue day, which meant the kingdom was not going to fall. I'm silly sometimes. Okay. Well, that being said, I'm hungry, I'm kind of sleepy. It's been a hectic day emotionally. I think I need the rest. So, I want to say goodnight to you folks. And let's see, today is Friday, my time, isn't it? It is now Saturday. So, I will see you all again, either Sunday evening, Mountain Standard Time, 9 p.m., or Monday. I'll let you know. You folks have a good one. Now, as far as Raid, let's see who's currently streaming. Let's raid over to funds. Support the film boy. Alright. Thank you everybody that tuned in tonight. Thank you everybody that just watches the VODs. I appreciate you all. I appreciate everybody that sat in chat and everybody that just lurked. It's always good to have your company here. So, I will see you all again soon. Very much. And let's do this as a Green Glowdog raid. Okay. Well, let's go.